Princess Leonor walked in, and the room went silent. The grand hall shimmered with gold and crystal. Laughter filled the air, conversations flowed, and the orchestra played softly. Then, suddenly, silence. Every head turned. Every word stopped mid-sentence. The reason: Princess Leonor had just walked in. No announcement. No fanfare. Just presence. A moment so powerful, so unexpected, that even the most seasoned royals froze in awe. Because this wasn't the young princess they once knew, this was a queen in the making. It wasn't the dress, though it glittered like moonlight. It wasn't the crown, though it caught every flicker of the chandeliers. It was something deeper: command, grace, confidence that had been quietly forged under years of pressure, expectation, and whispers behind palace walls. As Leonor walked forward, the silence wasn't just respect, it was realization. The future had arrived, and it wore heels of destiny. But let's rewind. Because this moment, this breathtaking entrance, didn't come out of nowhere. It was the result of years of struggle, transformation, and silent preparation for a throne she never asked for, yet one she now embodies entirely. From the moment Leonor was born, Spain knew she wasn't just another royal child. She was the heir, the first queen in waiting in over a century. Every smile, every step, every decision, watched, analyzed, judged. And yet, she grew quietly, gracefully, hidden beneath her parents' shadow, building something far more powerful than public image. She built inner strength. When King Felipe ascended the throne, Leonor was barely a child. But he knew, her education, her training, her exposure, would shape the stability of Spain's monarchy. So, every move was intentional. The academy, the military training, the protocol lessons, the diplomatic tours. Piece by piece, the young princess became the poised woman who would one day redefine royalty. But what no one knew was how heavy that crown felt long before it ever touched her head. There were tears, there were sacrifices, there were nights when the weight of history itself pressed against her heart. Yet, she never faltered. She listened, she learned, she endured. And tonight, the night that silenced a royal ballroom, was proof of that endurance. When she entered, she wasn't just attending another royal event. She was stepping into her destiny. The way she carried herself, tall, unyielding, yet kind, reminded everyone of Queen Letitia's poise and King Philippe's quiet authority. But it was uniquely Leonor's energy, soft yet unbreakable, refined yet radiant, that commanded the moment. At the center of the ballroom, she paused. For just a second, a knowing glance, a slight nod to her mother. The orchestra hesitated, then resumed, but the spell lingered. Because every person there, from diplomats to dukes, knew they had witnessed a turning point. This was the moment Spain's future queen became more than a royal daughter. She became the embodiment of legacy. But behind that poised smile, a story was unfolding, one few knew. The rumors, the pressure, the whispers of love and royal alliances. Her connection with Denmark's Crown Prince Christian, a friendship that grew beyond borders, sparking speculation that Europe's future might just lie in the union of two thrones. Their paths had crossed at official events, discreet smiles, brief exchanges, the kind of quiet familiarity that made the press restless. Was it politics or affection? Was it strategy or fate? No one could tell. Yet, whenever they stood side by side, it was undeniable, something deeper existed. Tonight, even as Leonor stood among Spain's highest nobles, the question lingered: was this the moment she silently confirmed her path, as both a monarch and a woman in love? Because for the first time, her eyes spoke more than her words ever could. Every gesture that evening seemed deliberate. Her grace was not rehearsed, it was natural. Her laughter, rare, sincere, drew glances from every corner. And when she danced, the cameras caught what words could never describe: lightness, liberation, perhaps even love. But let's pause here. Why did this moment matter so much? Why did a single entrance echo across continents? Because it wasn't just about beauty. It was about transformation. The shy, reserved girl who once avoided the spotlight had stepped into it, not because she wanted to, but because she was ready. The world had been waiting to see who Leonor would become. And now, it had its answer. She wasn't a reflection of her parents. She wasn't a product of royal protocol. She was her own legacy, graceful, intelligent, fearless. And yet, beneath that composure, one could sense emotion. A quiet longing. Perhaps for freedom, for normalcy, for a moment where she could be just Leonor, not Her Royal Highness. Her story is the story of duty meeting heart. Of tradition meeting change. Of a young woman who has learned that power, when balanced with compassion, can transform a nation. As the night went on, and conversation returned to the room, everyone whispered the same thing: she's ready. Ready to lead. Ready to love. Ready to carry Spain into a new era. Every movement, every glance, every word reinforced one truth: the world had just witnessed not a moment, but a milestone. When Princess Leonor walked into that room, the silence wasn't shock. It was reverence. A collective recognition that something had shifted, that the next chapter of royal history had just begun. And as she smiled, poised, radiant, calm, one couldn't help but think, this is what destiny looks like when it finally arrives. The applause that followed wasn't just for her presence. It was for her journey. For the years of quiet resilience, of preparation, of becoming. Because in that single moment of silence, the world remembered, royalty isn't about titles. It's about legacy. And Princess Leonor, in all her quiet strength, had just claimed hers. And long after the music faded, the image of that entrance, her walk, her poise, her light, remained etched in memory. The young princess who silenced a room didn't just attend an event that night. She defined it. And in doing so, she reminded the world that true power doesn't need to speak loudly. It only needs to walk in.